On this episode of Playlog, we're talking about whether it's okay to pirate indie games, whether it's okay to steal other people's indie games, and what games we missed in May of 2024. Hey guys, CGDannyB back again with another episode of Playlog, the podcast where we talk all things indie gaming. And of course, I can't talk about indie games alone because that'd be boring as... I was going to do the cursing thing again, but we did that last episode.
No.
It would just be boring. It'd be boring, guys. It's boring. It's a family-friendly show. But alongside me, I've got my partner in crime, the Play Nice Kid himself, Tofr. What's poppin'?
Hecky G, everyone. And I guess not a lot of people will get that, but it's...
What did you just say to me?
Hecky G.
I don't know what that means.
I will explain when we get to the games we played this week.
Okay. I'm going to be like, do I get the reference? But okay. Well, once we get to the Hecky G later, we'll talk about that. First, quick reminder, if you haven't seen it yet, I posted a recent video on YouTube about the 12 upcoming indie games that you should be checking out in June. The algorithm, not a fan of me this week. It told me to try something new. I tried something new, told me to screw off. So, if you have the time, just go over there and watch a cool video about a bunch of upcoming indie games like Tavern Talk or Still Wakes the Deep or Hashtag Blood or a bunch of others. Go over there and leave a like and a comment. Would appreciate it. And I'll give you a kiss for it. YouTube.com/CGDannyB, by the way. I forgot to do the link part. But... But to get the show started, we have to break the ice like we typically do. Remember, you can write into the show and ask us your questions about gaming, content creation, life, etc. We'll read them here on the show. And I think I'm running a little bit light. So if you want to rewrite in or you're like, oh, I've never written in a question, now's the time. Get on there. And you could be just like Hypnotic89, who wrote and said, there's an indie game. Is there an indie game that at first you hated but tried it on Game Pass or PlayStation Plus, Steam Demo, Epic Game Store, etc., and then fell in love with? Tofr. What game did you hate, despise, wish fell into a burning trash fire, and then said, actually, it's pretty good?
I've never hated a game like that before, to be honest. I went for a controversial pick, because it's not a game I hated when I saw it. I just really could not imagine it being a game that I would like.
Yeah.
And that would have to be Celeste.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. Now let me
heresy.
Let me explain.
Okay.
I grew up as a gifted child who was supposed to be good at everything immediately. So I have this innate fear of failure. Okay. And Celeste requires you to fail over and over and over again while traversing its rooms. And like, I'm not the best at platformers in the best of my days.
Yeah.
So Celeste was a challenge, but like, people kept telling me how amazing this game was, how I should just give it a try, and eventually I did. And what this game does really well is it just lets you get on with it. You fail, fine, try again. Just go for it. And that like took me by surprise and allowed me to let my fear of failure exist, but not like dominate everything.
Yeah. No, that's a great pick. Celeste was one that I didn't even hear about it till it was out. I remember IGN gave it like a 10 out of 10. I remember Kind of Funny. I was listening to them talk about it. And they were like, I saw IGN gave it a 10 out of 10, so I had to try it, and I love this game. And I'm like, what is this? So I looked it up, and then I saw it was from the guys who made Towerfall Ascension, which we loved in college. That was like our drunk night parties. Like, yeah, Towerfall, hit him with the brambles. And I'm like, it looks similar, but like way more wholesome. And when I tried, I'm like, shit, this hits. Yeah, Celeste is required playing for gamers. Everyone should pay Celeste.
It is. That's why I tried it, because people kept convincing me to do it.
Yeah. And
like, for once, I'm glad I gave in to peer pressure.
There you go. Just that one time. Don't do drugs, kids.
Don't do drugs.
We sat here doing like the run of the show. I'm like, I don't know what mine is, because I'm very like, I'm unapologetic when I hate a game. If I don't like a game, if I don't think I'm going to like it, I'll typically be like, I don't think that's for me. That's not my cup of tea, but good for those who do. Or if I hate it, like an Ark Survival Evolved, a Dead by Daylight, like a Rainbow Six Siege, I will not hesitate to tell people how much I hate those games. So like I sat here, I'm like, I don't know if I have a good one that I hated or didn't like and then ended up liking. But the closest thing I had was probably Balatro. And that was because I had like 7 or 8 review codes I was working on. I was getting my PR emails like, hey, the Steam Next Fest demo's coming out if you want to try it. I'm like, I might. I have a lot of things I'm already planning. I already made my schedule for the week. We'll see how that goes. But then I started being like, this demo's pretty cool. I'm like, okay, it sounds fun. We might get around to it. Then they hit me again with like, hey, do you want like the key to play the game? I'm like, I do. But again, I have these other games. I should play these first. And then everybody and their mother's just like, oh my God, this game's amazing. So I hit my PR up. I'm like, can I get the key, please? And he's just like, I could see the smug look on his face through the email. Like, yeah, here you go. And I was like, and I got him like, damn, this is fun. This is addicting. Nah, Balatro hits, dude. Like it's one of those simple ones that I think the thing that turns people off is like poker. Because if you don't know how to play poker, you're like immediately at this wall of like, ooh, I don't know if I can like enjoy this. But like literally it's just learn what the hands are and the rest is natural. Like you don't need to know how to play poker. You don't need to be able to read people and bluff and everything like that. Like it's not that deep. So like once you get into it, it is deep in ways of like how many different combinations you can make. I had one the other day where I was, I had the I think it's Blueprint, which is the card you can move that copies the card to the right. But I had this set where like if I go in, every time I do a draw, this card will double my multiplier or something like that. So I'd put the multiplier next to that. Then when that would activate, I would move it later. It's like anytime you play a face card, it gives you this many more or this much more money. Then move it over there. So I had to make sure each turn I'm moving this card so I'm getting the most out of my hand, because if I leave it in one place, I'm losing half my benefits. But like it feels so good watching numbers ting all the way up. It's
I know, right?
So good, dude. So good.
It is like when I still made TikToks, I did awards at the end of the year, and one of the awards was the One More Go.
It's a good one.
I knew when Balatro released that this game was gonna win that award anyway this year.
Yeah, dude, it's so great. I am so excited for the end of the year, because I know it'll be nominated for like Indie Game of the Year. I don't know if it's debut game for the studio. I'm not sure. But like, it's a banger. It's a banger. I don't know if it'll be nominated for Game of the Year because, you know, the Game Awards are stingy like that. But this year we should have the Indie Awards, which is put on by the 6-1 guys, we'll talk about a little bit. And then Vicarious PR are working together for that. So Balatro is going to be rolling in some awards there. I can almost guarantee it. So I'm excited for that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if you haven't tried the game yet, if you're like one of those people who are like, I don't know, is it too much like poker? There's this bundle on Steam right now.
You beat me to it. Yeah.
Where you can buy Balatro and Wild Frost together.
It's such a good pack. That's such a great pack, dog. Like, it is. If oh my God, if this bundle was on like PlayStation, dog, I would grab that there so I could have it on both places. Like, I saw it last night to put out the art. They have like a little, I don't know if he's an actual character in the game or anything, but there's an illustration of like the Balatro like Joker as like a full character. Now, I don't think he's an actual thing in the game, but there is a charm. There's now a Balatro charm in Wild Frost, which I don't know what it does, but I have to find out. And I love it. And I'm obsessed.
Can I just go on a tangent here for
yes,
just a minute?
Of course.
I saw a picture this week on Twitter from like this gaming convention.
Okay.
And it had like 4 guys dressed as the people from what's it called? Hang on. The horror game that everyone played.
Dead by Daylight.
No, the good one.
No.
No, the one with the company. Oh, what's it?
Lethal Company.
Yeah. So it had like these people dressed like the guys from Lethal Company, and then one person dressed as one of the Jokers from Balatro.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was amazing. Like, yes, indies.
Oh man, indies are amazing, dude. There's a new one. I don't know what I forget what it's called. I think it's Murky Deeps or something like that. Someone have to fact check me. But it's another Lethal Company like game, but you're like scuba divers and stuff, and it's like underwater ships, which I hate the ocean. I hate everything underneath. But when I could do it in a video game, it's a little more calming. So I'll take it. But yeah, dude,
Murky
indies
Divers.
out there. Yeah, is that what Murky Divers? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if there's a date or anything on that. I think it's just coming soon or some of the effect, unless it changed the last couple of days.
June 19th.
Son of a Bitch. Okay. All right. There we go, guys. Murky Divers coming soon. But yeah, they're great. And we'll talk a little bit more about copying indie games later in the news, but timestamp. Thank you, Hypnotic, for writing in with your question. Now, on to the quick indie news. It's a heavy indie news day. Let me tell you what I have 7 items here. 7 items? 7 items on the Roper Report. A baker's dozen. Sorry, all the kind of funny best friends. You're welcome for that one. But to start off, Ultrakill developer explains why pirating his game can actually help. Now, before you all start going to Pirate Bay and start grabbing stuff, just relax for a second. I saw this initially on Twitter, the actual thread, but the article I'm pulling is from Dexerto. I never knew how to say the website. By Daniel Appleford. Let me see. A user on X posted a picture of them downloading a program with the text saying they love pirating indie games, sparking a debate among some of the community members. This is the Ultrakill community. Comments underneath the post are filled with people explaining the good and bad sides of pirating games from small developers. Later, the post claims that they already purchased the game in question, Ultrakill, once before. In the end, the creator behind Ultrakill decided to step forward and state his opinion on pirating his own game. However, their response may not have been what some expected. As creator of said game, you should support indies if you can, but culture shouldn't exist only for those who can afford it. Ultrakill wouldn't exist if I hadn't had easy access to movies, music, and games growing up. If you don't have money, you can support via word of mouth. And there goes a little bit more talking about like the business-minded stuff, so I would recommend reading the article. It's maybe like another paragraph. But when I saw this on Twitter, him being like, no, it's okay to pirate stuff. I'm like, hold on. We're going to start a slippery slope here. We need to clarify. And I like the perspective. I like the not being gatekept by financial means. I still think I'm treading lightly because I still want to not create the slippery slope of like, you know what? If you can't afford it, just pirate everything. Just download it all for free and then tell people you played it. Like if we just made our entire thing, like all the games we review be pirated, but it's okay because we're talking about them. That feels still icky. But I guess it's one of those things where like the guy who made the game is cool with it, so I guess it's fine. So I don't know. I don't know how you feel about that or what you take away or any thoughts you have.
It's a hard thing to like discuss because there's so much nuance to it. And we don't have the time to like completely dive into it here and now.
Yeah.
I feel like I agree with the idea that culture shouldn't be just for people who can afford it.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, maybe this is a developer who is in a situation where they're able to say that it's fine if you if you pirate my game.
Yeah.
Some developers need the income
that
comes from their game selling. So I can see both sides, and while I agree that like it shouldn't be gatekept, it's also like if you please support indie devs.
Yeah,
they really. It's not like a big studio that's gonna get their money anyway. Indie devs depend on every single copy of the game that gets bought. So, yeah.
I don't know. I sit there and I've never pirated a game in my life. I don't even know the steps to do that. I'm sure it's not that complicated. Kids, don't go look it up. I don't think I've ever been in the space where I can't afford it, so I'm going to ultimately steal it. I know everybody's motivations, consciousness, blah, blah, blah. Consciousness, not the one. I don't know what word I'm looking for. What's the devil and the angel on the shoulder? Your fucking, your conscience. My consciousness. I couldn't stay awake to play the game. No, everybody's conscience is different of what they think is okay and isn't okay. I'm still not even in the space of like pirating AAA, regardless of how much money they're making. It's just not where I stand. The closest I'll get to that is when it comes to emulation, and that solely comes down to accessibility with like how many games aren't even able to be played these days. And there was the conversation of like the hardware doesn't exist anymore, or if it does exist, people are selling it for an exorbitant amount of money. And then can I get a cartridge? For the longest time, who was able to go out there and get like a Turtles in Time cartridge so they could just play the game, and there was no remastered port or stuff. So like emulation, I think, is a whole separate thing that I think is far more accessible and acceptable. But yeah, I think just if you take anything away from the story, don't just go, new game came out, so I should download and play it. But I think the openness to be like, yeah, I can't afford it, but having the option to play it and talk about it is nice.
Yeah.
I don't know how to not that, like, cut that down anymore, to be like, yeah, just sometimes.
Yeah. The thing is, like, you don't have to play every single game.
Yeah.
There's I don't know how many games releasing on Steam every single day, and there's no way you're gonna play all of them. Like, and if you want to try games, there's so many demos to try.
Yeah.
Give those a try. And if there's a game you really, really want to, like, you know that this is the one game that you want to play this year, then try to save up for it somehow. Yeah. And maybe don't buy other games. I'm not the perfect person in this respect. I keep buying games and not playing them.
That's a you problem exclusively. I have never bought more than I've needed. When I say looking at how do I see how many games are in my library?
How can you see that?
Too many. I can see my recent ones that's 70, and I'm like, how many of these did I actually play?
if you click on games and software in your library, you can select games or soundtracks or software or tools, and there it says how many games you have.
Oh, 612. Not as many as I thought, honestly.
It's less than me.
Is it? Damn. Well, I don't know how long you've been a PC gamer. I'm a more recent PC gamer, and I still buy a lot on PlayStation.
So am I.
Well, shit.
Yeah. Steam sales.
Well, I'm sure. Steam summer sales right around the corner.
I know.
I'm going ham. But yes, pirating games. It's a slippery slope, but be smart about it.
Yeah.
But on from that, Stray is finally getting DLC. Let me go over. This was from, the article won't load. I'll never know. This is from Stephanie Kretz over at Game Rant. The award-winning indie game Stray is finally getting DLC. Players have been clamoring for a sequel since the game's debut by Blue 12 Studios and Annapurna Interactive, having completely kept quiet about Stray, aside from the upcoming animated movie. Did not know that was happening. I didn't know we were getting an animated movie for Stray.
I didn't know either.
So there's some more news for you. Stray is released in 2022 on the PS5 to critical acclaim. The game puts players in the shoes or paws of a cat. We already know that part. Nearly 2 years after its initial release, Stray has announced an upcoming free DLC with the promise of a trailer debuting on June 10th in a since-deleted Instagram post. Stray also plans to hold a charity event to benefit stray cats worldwide while rewarding participating players. So far, Stray has not announced a date for the DLC's release. That's all we know. That we're getting a trailer next week, or the end of this week, Monday next week. That's cool. I've talked before, and I feel like sometimes out of context it seems like I hated Stray, and like I didn't. I love Stray. I platinumed the thing twice. I'm excited to see what this looks like. I am not often the DLC guy, where I will like. It takes usually a special game for me to want to go back and play more of it if I'm definitely playing something new. So I think depending what this is, if it is one of those updates, like there's now a speedrunning mode and leaderboards, like that's not enough for me to load up and download Stray again. If it is, there's an expansion where you play as like one of the other cats that like, where did my husband, boyfriend, whatever the cat relationship is from the beginning of the game shows up. Or if it's like, I'm playing as like the little robot, that was along with Stray or something like that. I think that would be an interesting thing to try out. But until we know, I don't know. But you excited for Stray DLC?
I'm in two minds about it.
Right.
Like, it feels like it's a bit late to like still come out with DLC for it.
Yeah.
Having had nothing in between. Like I've kind of moved on from that game. So like you said, it's gonna take something pretty special to lure me back in.
Yeah. I hope it's something special, man. I hope it's something like big-ish. Like I don't want the here's a leaderboard, here's a speedrun mode. Maybe you can put hats on your cat now. Like if it is like a new section of the map, new stuff, like it'd be cool. I think it'd be fun. But yeah, I think dates and everything is going to depend what I'm playing, when I'm playing it, if I'll be able to make room for it.
I don't really see where they have the room to like expand this world. The story was like it came full circle. It was finished. And it's got me curious, to say the least.
Yeah. Like I said, I feel like it has to be somebody else's perspective. I think the cat we did started their adventure, completed their adventure. Well, sort of. It does have, without spoilers, have like a very like, ooh, what happens next ending, but a solid ending. Like this is the conclusion. But like I said, there are the other cats. Like, what were they doing while this cat went missing? Like, they're literally just like, we don't see him again. They abandoned. Like, did they just go and die? Did they go like, we got to find the orange cat? And then they found another orange cat and got confused and said, oh no, we picked up switched at birth. We got the wrong cat. We'll never know. I think there's other characters in there that could have like a perspective on it. But then how far away does that get from like traditional Stray? Like if I said like the robot, if we are doing the little robot, well, how much different is that going to be? But like, yeah, I don't know. There's so many directions, and until we see that trailer next week, I don't quite know where I sit on it. But for people who want more Stray, it's there.
It is.
Timestamp. Next article, Hades 2 tops the Steam May charts. Another article on, my articles are out of order, on Dextero from Rosalie Newcomb. Basically, the May releases, or the May Steam chart was released, showing the top 20 games on Steam. I won't read through all of them, but Hades 2 sits comfortably at the top with the most plays this month. Gotta love seeing an indie at the top of the list. But what I love most is that there's so many indies on the list, period. So going from the top, Hades 2 was number 1, Stardew Valley was number 3, Hades 1 was number 4. With an asterisk, Baldur's Gate 3 was number 5, Balatro was number 6, Helldivers is number 10. With another asterisk, Cyberpunk 2077 is number 12. Vampire Survivors number 13. Binding of Isaac number 16. That one's for Daphne. I bet she was putting in the time to be like, I got my Binding of Isaac numbers up. Animal Well at number 17, and then Slay the Spire at number 18. So with the asterisks on Baldur's Gate and Cyberpunk, which are like, by my definition, indie, because they're owned, like they're self-published type deal. But that's over half the list being indie games for the month of May, so I can't complain.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And I think one of those was like a new release, like Animal Well being that. Well, Hades too, but the sequels are a thing. But yeah, I mean, like Stardew, sticking around, Binding of Isaac, Slay the Spire, Animal Survivors, Vampire Survivors. Billy, if you want to make a Vampire Survivors and Animal Well, that's the next step. But no, again, love seeing a list. It's just like all indies.
Yeah, it's really cool. I especially like how high Hades, the first Hades, is up that list. Still.
Yeah.
Like once again.
I know my buddy Connor was, he finished Hades 2 or partway through. He's like, I kind of go back and play the first one and then jump back into 2. So I'm sure there's a lot of people who did that. Like either they couldn't pick up 2. Cause I think this one's a lot saltier. I think it was like, what, $40, 30 something bucks. It's saltier than the first one. The first one was like 20. But yeah, being like, either I can't afford the new one, or I'm not ready, I haven't finished the first one. How many people jump back into the first one and then to 2, or feeling the FOMO, wanted some Hades in their life? So I'm not surprised, but also glad to see both Hades in that top list there. Yeah, it's pretty great.
I do wonder if you've played the second game, how it feels to like go back to the first one.
I'm afraid to do it. Because like I want to get the platinum for Hades 1, but it's kind of grindy. You have to do get all these characters and do all this, get these charms up. When I've played Hades 2, I'm like, oh, am I gonna go back and be like, Zagreus, you're nothing like your sister. Do better. Like, because I love the way Melanoid plays. I love her kit so much more than Zag. And like as a character, I think Zag's a lot more like exciting. He like his energy is different, and Melanoid does not stickler. That's the wrong word, but she's a lot more like, yes ma'am type deal than Zag, who's just like, haha, your penis is small, to like anybody he runs into. And I'm like, I like Zag. Zag's funny. Sorry, father, you look dumb today. And I'm like, okay, Zag, get him. But characters aside, no, I think I would probably struggle. I kind of want to give it a window to then be like, I'm playing Hades anew again before I like drop from 2 to 1 and be like, I lost a bunch of shit. Especially the boons.
Yeah.
Ah, man. But yeah, timestamp, Hades. Good time. Next up, Toys for Bob is still working with Microsoft for their first indie game. This one comes from Justin Carter over at Game Developer. It's official, Toys for Bob's next project will be published by Microsoft. The studio confirmed on Twitter, cushioning the news by saying it's still very early in development on said game. Previous reports from March indicated that the two companies would still be in bed following Toys for Bob's split from Activision Blizzard in February. In case anyone didn't know, Toys for Bob, the guys who make the remakes for Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon, and also made Crash 4. At the time of that news, it was claimed that the studio's next game would be similar to what it previously made. It was further alleged that Toys leadership was insistent about returning to what it worked on before being relegated as a Call of Duty support team, which was such a waste of the team. I can't believe Activision did that. That was not in the article. That was a Danny thought. The previous
correct opinion.
It's exactly. I'm just saying you would have. I'll read the rest of the article. Then we'll talk about that. Yeah. That previous work would be revitalizations of Spyro and Crash franchises. In the last several years, it released remasters of both series original PlayStation installments, and the latter's case, God, I can't read, made a wholly new game. While Toys for Bob is cagey on what said project is, this partnership may confirm its status as an Xbox exclusive. It may also be it's just a semi-timed one, similar to Hi-Fi Rush and Pentiment. You like Toys for Bob?
I had never heard of Toys for Bob before.
Well, now you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were the team responsible, for the Crash remake, the Insane trilogy, the Spyro Reignited trilogy, and then Crash 4 something in time. I can't think of the title off the top of my head. But yeah, with the acquisition and everything, they bought themselves out from Activision Blizzard, and now Toys for Bob's an indie studio, so we take that. But the assumption is because they did a new Crash game, they were also doing a new Spyro game. So my assumption is this game being published by Xbox is a new Spyro game. It will be Spyro 4. And then we get that weird thing of like, is Spyro an indie game? Yes? No? Well, that'll be a whole conversation 10 years from now. So that's my assumption of what their next game will be. But then after that, I'm excited to see what a modern take on like a new mascot character in the realm of a Crash or a Spyro looks like from Toys for Bob. Because I'm sure they'll kill it. And I think having a new mascot platformer when like people are clamoring for a new Banjo they're not going to get. Ukulele didn't really hit the way a lot of people wanted it. A lot of 3D platformers kind of go like under the radar. I think people enjoy them, but like even Hat in Time, as big as it is, I don't think like the Hat in Time kid is like a mascot in that way.
No.
So I would love to see like Toys for Bob create a new mascot for like indie 3D platformers.
That would be cool. But we do have like a mascot like that now, the Yellow Taxi.
We do now, yeah, Yellow Taxi, beep beep. That'll be my mascot, man. It's hard to measure up. Yellow Taxi's room is lit. But yeah, no, being published by Microsoft, I'm glad. Like, there's always that weird thing when you see those like company gets closed, company separates from this, like how much bad blood is there. And I think Toys for Bob really realized that like they like I said in my passing comment, they weren't being used right. They made these great games. They made remade trilogies that people loved and bought again, and enough to make a new installment of one of these franchises to then be like, by the way, we need you to work on Call of Duty, which my perspective, just a dying franchise that like, sure, people buy it every year and play their Call of Duty and then they play Warzone and everything. But like, I don't think Call of Duty diversifies enough for like, I don't think I've played since like Cold War, and even that was maybe like 10 hours max. But like Call of Duty just doesn't hit like that. So I hate that such a powerful team like Toys for Bob got relegated to just being like a support team for Call of Duty. And I'm glad they realized that and said, we're going to do our own thing. See you later.
Yeah. Maybe Camposanto could learn something from this.
Yeah, maybe Camposanto could.
God damn it.
I know, Cartoon Bird's in my chat all the time, and he's just like, I can't wait for Firewatch 2. Please don't tell me it's a lie. I just want to dream. I'm like, homie, I want you to dream. Honestly, I don't know if Firewatch 2 is in the cards. I don't know. I think that story's kind of where it is. But I just want In the Valley of Gods because y'all teased that back in like 2018, 2017, 2003, whenever you announced it. And I want it back. I want to play that game.
Yep.
Yep. Damn it. Camposanto,
please come back, Camposanto, please.
We miss you. Or Valve, let your team make the game they were making.
Yeah.
Because I think right now on Steam it has like a 2029 release date. Like it just got
Yeah.
pushed back, dude. I hope that means they still plan to. I just wanted to say something. Tell me you're taking a 5-year break.
Maybe they're working on Half-Life 3 first.
Dog, listen. I want that for people. I want them to have Half-Life 3. It won't hit. These people waited too long. No matter what they put out, they'll be like, this isn't as good as I wanted it to be. This is a trash game. Half-Life 3 is pretty bad. I can't believe they took so long just to drop the ball on this. Gamers, am I right?
Totally.
But yes, Toys for Bob, we're excited to see what you guys get done in the future. But for now, let's talk about some upcoming DLC for Dave the Diver being a limited release. Timestamp. Dave the Diver's DLC with Godzilla being a limited release. I got this one from Ben Sledge over at The Gamer. The article titled, "Wait, we have limited time DLC now?" If you ever want to play a game about deep sea diving in which you help dolphins and fight off sharks in order to serve the latter up in the sushi restaurant, Dave the Diver is the game for you. If you like to include long extinct aquatic, monstrosities and communities of mermaids, you're in luck. Skip forward a little bit to talk about the actual thing. An official Godzilla crossover is a dream come true. The free update is downloading to my hard drive as I write these words. But why is it time limited? If you don't download before November 23rd, 2024, you can never play it. What? And really here, there's no other further information. It's more speculation on what the whole thing is. It seems to mostly be just like, it's Godzilla, it's a property. What does that contract look like for how they got it into the game? Yeah. But this is weird because like, I'm going to have to go download it so I have it because I have to play through Dave the Diver on my PlayStation. But being like this, after November, this DLC doesn't exist, or it only exists if you had it. It's a very like PT type thing where like people are going to be selling PS5s that have Dave the Diver with the Godzilla like installed on it. Mm-hmm. I like to think it's just the Godzilla team being like, well, we don't know if we like this Dave guy enough to give you that long. We'll give it to November, but that's it. Just a weird pick. I don't know if you have any reflections on that weird take.
I'm like, it's a weird thing to do. I get that FOMO is like really strong, and people are more likely to get drawn to your game if you have something like a timed exclusive. But
yeah,
it just feels like it draws me back to the discussion of, is Dave the Diver an indie or not?
Yeah,
because this feels like a non-indie move.
Yeah, no, it sure does. It sure does. Wow, Dave. AAA weirdo. It is though. Like as I said, I didn't even think about it that way. Not that I can immediately think of like, oh, this is the one time such and such did this. But I do think of like Call of Duty. I want to say Advanced Warfare had like a space zombies mode or something that was a year exclusive on PlayStation. But then the thing with it being a year exclusive is Call of Duty's annual. So by the time other platforms got this mode in the old Call of Duty, everyone was on the new one. So it was just a weird pick. Like at that point, Xbox players, and I'm assuming PC players just didn't get this mode. You can only play on PlayStation. Granted, was it a smart financial move for somebody? I'm sure. I don't know if PlayStation saw like the success out of that mode exclusivity that they wanted, but I don't know. Yeah, this is a weird thing of being like, I like to hope it wasn't Mint Rocket's decision or Nexon's decision to be like, we'll only put it out this long. I also made the comparison to like Friday the 13th, which that game was just covered in weirdness of like, this studio owns this Jason, but this studio owns this Jason. But like Friday the 13th is all over the place, so they can only do so much. And then after some big lawsuit, they just weren't able to update the game because Jason, Friday the 13th was just like taboo, don't touch it. So they were locked in, like, we can't fix bugs, we can acknowledge them, but there's nothing we can do about it. So this game's going to sit here as it is for the rest of the time. And I believe, I might be making this up, the servers are, like, pending shutdown, like the game's not going anywhere anymore. Which kind of sucks, but that's just one of those weird contract things when you get big IP in your indie games.
It worries me because, like, game conservation is already a difficult task nowadays.
Yeah.
With most of gaming being online now, and this is just this makes things even more difficult.
Yeah. So much more.
Because you had to have been there. Like, no, I want to buy the game and be able to play this.
I'm gonna play it. Nah, go watch my Let's Play over on YouTube. You'll still get the same experience. No, it's weird because I don't even think about like a Game of the Year type edition or like an anniversary edition that has like Dave the Diver with all the DLC, and like I see the cover with like the Dredge ship, and then like I don't know, let's say they put Murky Divers in there, like, oh, that's a cool crossover, but no Godzilla to be seen. And like I think about the Treasure Trove edition for Shovel Knight. You can buy each of those campaigns individually except for Plague of Shadows. Like that one you have to buy in the bundle. So if you could play 3 out of the 4 campaigns alone, I'm not sure why you can't play Plague of Shadows alone. I don't know if it's ever been a thing, but like you can only get that if you buy the bundle. So like 10 years from now, we get a Dave the Diver anniversary edition that does include the God of War, the Godzilla stuff, or it'll be like, oh no, sorry, that November 2024, that was it. It's gone now. You can't play it. You have to have your old PS5 box that has it installed.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this way of dealing with things.
Fingers crossed Minrocky gets more Godzilla, or we just get properties that are cool with you sticking around for the long haul.
Yeah.
That being said, watch Godzilla -1 over the weekend. Pretty good flick.
I've heard it's good.
Yeah, it's on Netflix now.
Okay.
At least in the US. Sorry, I know Netflix things are weird. It might not be over there.
I'll have to check.
Yeah. Timestamp. Next up, now here's the controversial one. Here's the one that we threw at the last second because Twitter was ablaze with it. Developer Terry Brash facing backlash for basically completely copying somebody else's game. Let me throw this one up on the screen here. So over on Twitter, Kinda Nice Games tweeted out, "Hi everybody, at Terry Brash copied my game Dire Decks and is releasing it on Steam under a different name without my permission. I've tried to get him to take the game down, but he is unwilling to do so. Not sure what to do in this situation." And then you can see in the post, there is Dire Deck on the top and then Terry's game, which is called Wildcard on the bottom, which with the exception of like a teal box around the scene with some icons on the right, copy pasted the game. Assets stolen, put back in there. Before we talk about Terry, a lot of people have been calling him out on Twitter like, hey, take it down, go to Steam and put a copyright thing on it. Terry's made a few responses. Well, I got to think, I can't show it to Tofr with the audio. But it's so basically this is a clip from Always Sunny in Philadelphia where he is Max driving, and one of the audio gets cut over just like, oh no, am I stealing indie games? And he's like, that's what I do, and then jumps out the back of the truck. And then there's another one with SpongeBob, like I call it Bold and Brash, more like Belongs in the Trash, where he like throws a picture of himself into the trash because knowing he's a trash person for what he did, but not like accepting responsibility or making a move for it. It's really weird. I don't know what this move is. How you feeling about our boy Terry here?
I have no idea how to feel. Like, why would you just copy someone's game and then put it up for free as well?
Yeah,
because his game is free on Steam.
Yeah,
I don't get it. Like, it's such a dick move. I put this in the list to talk about it, but I'm pretty speechless when it comes to this because I cannot comprehend how you think you're going to get away with this and then to react in such a stupid way as well.
Yeah. We talked very shortly before. We didn't talk too much about it as we were like kind of building the doc, but I love thinking that the world of indie developers is just a nice place. Everybody there is nice to each other. Most of the time they are, but then you have cases like this, where this guy's an asshole. And I can't fathom doing this. Like, if you even thought for a second you can get away for it. I understand being like, I can't complete something, I can't do something, whatever. You have been blatantly called out. The world has seen you take this game as your own that you did not make, or if you made to some degree, you stole a majority of it from another developer, and then you just said, haha, yeah, I did that, but like you aren't owning up to it. You're not taking that responsibility. You're not saying like, oh, I did this, I should step back, I'm sorry, whatever. You're just making dumb shit post memes about it and being like, yeah, go play it. It's so fucked up.
It is.
That's so lame. That is so lame of a human being thing to do. And I'm sitting here now, hold on. This is just me getting weird with it. Now I'm scrolling through and looking at like other studios that like follow him. The one is Farm Folks, who we talked out the other week for Jiggle Physics. But like, I don't know, man. That like, fuck off, Terry.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad to like what's making me happy in this situation is other indie devs jumping on this and like throwing shade. Like, throw all of the shade, please.
If I can get him. We saw, we had both seen it through Rusty's retirement. They had made the post. Because Terry had been like, hey, by the way, our game's out, or my game's out if you want to play it. Or at least the demo or some effect of it. And then Rusty's retirement post like, hey, no, don't do that. They stole this from this game, from Kind of Nice Games. And
I just spotted like Dude, the person behind Minami Lane.
Yep.
Has taken a tweet from Terry that said Wildcard is a free game and will remain free at launch, and has made it into Wildcard is a stolen game and will remain stolen at launch.
Get him, dude. Yeah, get him. I'm afraid where I'm going to see like an article next week. It's just like, yo, fucking Wildcard like tops the Steam charts, and I'd be so pissed about that. Mm-hmm. Because like you can go play Dire Deck for free on itch.io. It's a less discoverable website than Steam. But yeah, if you go over to itch.io and just look up Dire Deck, I was sitting there trying to figure it out beforehand. I'm like, how do I download this? I play it. You just play it in the browser. You just play it right there. Mm-hmm. I still don't even fully know how it is. It's like angling and shooting bullets and stuff, but it looks cool. There's cards. Just looks a lot cooler by the actual developer and not the guy who stole it.
Exactly.
But just be better people. Stop stealing shit.
Yeah.
Only pirate if the dev says it's okay. Call back. But yeah, I'm sure we'll like circle back to this if we see more about it. If Terry says anything that like, you know, seems remotely human, but no.
I'm risking getting a lot of backlash here, but I did notice that he has a blue check on Twitter. So it doesn't completely surprise me that he's being this kind of douche.
What a guy. What a champ. That blue check, man. King's of Twitter. Timestamp. But now let me tell you about some real kings of Twitter. The 6-1 Indie team over there. The 6-1 Indie Showcase submissions are open. So if you are an indie developer, the 6-1 Indie Showcase returns for its 5th consecutive Zero Barriers Indie Showcase on September 19th. Submissions are now open until July 1st. Indies of all shapes and sizes are encouraged to submit their game for consideration. Head over to @61indie on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. I still call it Twitter. For the link to submit your game and tell them Playlog sent you. Tell them the Playlog sent you over there, because that way 6-1 always remember that I was a part of it, that I said, hey, I got you. I remember last year, a couple of my dev friends had said like they submitted. I don't think they got into the showcase. I don't know if they got through me, but Shosha Games showed up with Water Me and You. It was our first dev talk that we did. That was a fun one to see at the showcase. That's always great. So anytime I see a developer friend kind of submit, I believe, if I recall, Gabriel, developer of Hirokatsu, which I just made a TikTok about, I think he reacted to my retweet of it, so that I'm assuming they're going to enter to try and be in the showcase. I just love it. I love seeing my indie friends in the 6-1 Indie Showcase. It's like I've made that connection for babies.
No, it's cool. It's a good showcase to be a part of. Like there's plenty of showcases, as the rest of this week will prove. But
so many.
The 6-1 Indie is a special one. Yeah.
6-1 Indie guys are great. Again, they're doing the Indie Awards at the end of the year. Super excited to see how that plays out. But yeah, if you're over there, if you just go over to Twitter @61indie, all spelled out, not capital, just letters, not numbers. It's their pin tweet. You can find it. And if you have a game, submit it. See if you're in the showcase. They do great comedic stuff. I actually know some behind the scenes things that I can't talk about. Not for this showcase, but from the last one. But I don't know why I even said that in the video. I didn't need to say that. I knew that. Like, I like teasing the world with things that I know.
You're just bragging.
A little bit, man. I'm that cool. I'm that cool. Timestamp. Well, that's the news for this week. Now I think it's time to talk about what we've been playing. I know for me, not a lot. Tofr, you played a little bit more than me, and you've made an extensive list of what you want to talk about. So, do you want to start? You want me to get mine out of the way? What are you thinking?
I can start because I have two games that I'm really excited about.
Bet.
For very different reasons.
Let's do it. Go for it.
And my first one is Trash of the Titans.
Yeah, I'm pulling this one up. I don't think I know this one.
Oh, I played the demo during the last Next Fest, I think.
Okay.
It's usually during Next Fest.
Typically. That's where you play demos.
Basically, if you like games like Into the Breach, then this is gonna be right up your alley.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I'm not afraid to make that comparison, even though Into the Breach is pretty legendary when it comes to turn-based strategy. But I feel like even though the game is only in early access right now, it holds that much promise. I really believe that it could become that special.
Yeah, it looks dope. Into the Breach is one I was like, I played a little bit. I didn't like stick around for the full thing. I probably now say like 5 hours of it. Like, it's cool. I enjoyed it enough. This one seems to have what is the whole thing's what, raccoons fighting for trash? Is that what I'm getting out of this?
Yeah.
Skunks maybe? Yeah.
You play as a team of trash animals. So there's badgers, there's raccoons, there's possums, and there's even others.
not the mutant rat.
Yeah, you have to fight teams of rats, the rat crew.
Okay.
From escaping with your trash. Now, for the people watching the YouTube version, you can see that the visuals are the first big standout for this game. They're using this pinkish purplish aesthetic, and it just looks gorgeous. The game world feels vibrant, even though you're playing mostly in trashy locations. But yeah, gameplay feels like a whole lot of fun. It plays very smoothly. Like, you can take your time, but you can play it quickly as well, which is really good for me because when I play strategy games, I don't think. I just do things and see if it works.
Yeah. Don't think, just do.
Yeah, and like every different animal has a different skill set. My badger was the team's tank, while the possum was all about long distance fights. My raccoon was completely OP. No, seriously, they have like this ability where you can basically disappear. You can just vanish.
Okay.
And that has saved me so many times during the gameplay.
I was gonna say, like, I know we talked about you like with challenging games. What's the challenge curve of it? Does it seem like, is it challenging enough to be like, this is still fun? Has it gotten over challenging at any point yet, or?
Well, considering that I'm not very good at games, it hasn't been all that challenging. Now, I haven't tried the hardest difficulty yet, but I did try the easiest and the middle one.
Okay.
And I managed to complete my runs.
Okay.
On both difficulties, so I think it's accessible. Maybe diehard fans who like really want a challenge will not really get their kick here, but
yeah.
That might still change because the game is still in early access, so it's still being actively worked on.
Bet.
Another thing that I really like about it is that all of the trash that you save can be used to upgrade your characters, and to do that, it's like this Tetris-like system.
Okay, I was gonna ask. I saw a Tetris thing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So your trash is shown in Tetris-style blocks, and you have to like feed them into the inventory system. And like create lines, and then all of the screen comes down again, and then all of your characters get upgrades and stuff like that. It's really cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with the Tetris thing, is it like? I'm trying to think of the best way to separate what I'm thinking in my head. Is there like a typical run of Tetris, like everything falls until like you succeed or lose?
No.
Is it kind of like a stockpile over time then? So like I completed level 1, I put in my L block, I don't know the regular square, whatever. I'm like, okay, that's all the stuff I had, move on. Then next match I got more. Now I completed a row, and that gave me my upgrade type deal.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. The second one.
Cool.
Like in every round that you play, there's 5 pieces of trash that you have to try and save.
Okay.
And the number of pieces that you save is the number of pieces that you get to play your Tetris with.
Okay. Cool. And does it seem like a certain type of trash has a certain shape, or does it seem like it's just kind of randomized? Like, oh, this can turn into the L block, and then this banana peel turn into or like just seems random at that point, or?
It seemed random, but I haven't paid the most attention to that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm not really sure.
No sweat. No sweat.
Yeah.
No, this one looks cool. Yeah, I would told you this is what I hadn't like seen or heard of. And now as I sit here and look at the next indie channel, I'm like, shit, they had a showcase this week too. I didn't watch that yet. Fuck, there's too much. Total segue, but like as we're recording this, the best indie game showcase is going on, and then I think by the time we wrap, the OTK Games Expo is starting at like 3:00. So like Jesus. Then we have that. There's so many indie showcases this week. And that's why I was like, I don't know how we're going to cover them. I don't think we can cover them all. It's not possible.
Maybe we just need to organize our own showcase.
Listen, don't act like I didn't think about it. It sounds like a lot of work. I've listened to the 6-1 guys talk about it. We're like, I'm so tired, but it's over. But I can't wait to start the next one. I'm like, good for you guys. I feel like my gut would be like, put in the trailer and then I just slap them all into a compilation, upload to YouTube, like, thanks for watching. But I'm like, that's not what people want. I have to do some planning for that. But tell you what, we'll aim to get into the 6-1 Indie Showcase or work with those guys first. Then we'll pull a Toys for Bob, branch off, do our own thing. That's what we'll do. But they'll publish us.
Good plan. Good plan. Just to get back to the game.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention that it's made by Solo Dev as well.
Hell yeah. Let's go Solo Dev.
Makes it more impressive. Yeah. And it's less than, I think it's about €9. So about $9, I guess, on Steam. You can still download the demo as well if you're unsure.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was pulling up to check. Early access, yeah. $8.09 over here for us US folks. So $8.99, $8.09 right now, 10% off. There you go.
Yeah.
Guess what's a euro? Am I right, guys? dollar bills. What we're talking about. Also, I want to apologize for anybody listening to me fidget today. I don't know why. I'm understimulated. I've been sitting here playing with my Shovel Knight pop socket for like the last 10 minutes. So I'm sure so listen back is hear me just playing with this shit. And then earlier I was like, let me consolidate my water. We were talking about one of the articles and I was just pouring water into another water bottle. I meant to call it out and totally forgot. I'm a fidgety, noisy boy today. I apologize.
Fine.
Oh,
you want to talk about a game you played?
I will. I had said I did not play a lot this week. Well, let me correct. I played a lot this week. That is Redacted, and it's. I wish the days lined up better because I could definitely talk about it, but it'll be in the future. But I played a couple things I can't talk about yet. I did get to play an extended version of the Schim beta. Now, we talked about Schim, Skimmity Bim Bom, whatever the game is called, last week. We were both kind of like, this is interesting, but it just kind of felt like scattered, just kind of ended. I wished it was longer. They did update what we played as the playtest is different. There's now a demo. It gives like kind of the start of the game. You're getting more of the narrative of what's going on. And then it ends with where the playtest started. We're like, okay, got it. The thing we saw, the guy like tripping with the box, there's something that leads up to that. And you're like, got it. Okay, the story makes sense now. There is a story here that I am now a part of. The demo had a lot more tutorial stuff. So I'm like, oh, there's a thing. I don't know if you found it during the playtest. The signs, if you interact while you're in the shadow, you can fling yourself with the sign.
Really?
So like, yeah, I didn't know that. So like when I got in that shadow, it gave me like the hold X or hold A or whatever to launch yourself. So where there's like the big fountain, if you go in there, it'll start to wiggle. You can go, and then the longer you hold it, the more it'll fling. So you might fling too far and then it'll teleport you back. And then maybe a little bit shorter, you land in the shadow and you're good. And then we called out like the other shadows that had eyes. You're like, oh, there's another little frog dude in here. Typically those are interactable objects. Not necessarily something that's helpful that moves you forward, but like we talked about the bus that had like the big old eyes. Yeah. If you just go in there, you can just honk the bus. You can just like honk at it, whatever. But I definitely got to more puzzles in the beta, in the demo. Sorry. And again, everyone can play this right now. It's on Steam. But there's one where it's like bikes and you have to go there at night, but the street lights don't have anything to cast a shadow on. So it's like, it's just a light. I can't make it. So you kind of have to circle around the map and like, oh, cool. Now if I do this, I hit the energy box, that turns on more street lights. I hit this motorcycle. So the headlight comes on and now I can go to a shadow. So it gave me a lot more like challenge, and challenge seems a little like too much. I wouldn't say it was ever like hard to figure out, but I was like, oh, cool. Like it was more than just start the level, get to the end of the level. So this gave me, not that I was ever not confident that I would enjoy this game, but I'm like, cool. This is even better than the playtest was. And I'm even more excited to like play it. This made it feel like a more complete experience, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
That's cool.
Excited.
It does make me wonder why they made the playtest the way they did.
Yeah, I wonder why they wouldn't just make the playtest like the demo that we got. Because I guess I should mention I got a key for it, but I got the key the same day it went up on Steam, so it's almost like for FTC's sake, I should say I got a key for it. But yeah, so it basically if it was just like we got an early version of that demo and then the rest of the world got it, whatever the case was. But yeah, the demo's a little bit different. It features some of the same levels, but it was a little bit longer of an experience than like the 15-20 minutes to power through. So I'd recommend if you were interested last week, or if you played the playtest, you're like, I maybe a little lacking, play the demo that's on Steam now, because it definitely gives more context to the world, what's happening. There's more narrative beats that I'm like, cool, this is exciting. Let's keep going.
Okay, cool.
But then of course it ended, I'm like, shit, I want more.
I might have to download that demo myself, but
Do
it's
it.
Next Fest next week.
Next
When are we gonna find the time?
I think formally this is technically part of Next Fest. We're in that spot where people are starting to drop their Next Fest demos. Like I know Bo in the Teal Lotus.
Yes.
That demo just dropped like yesterday, and I gotta play that. I might do that tonight. We'll see. But yeah, a bunch of demos dropped today or yesterday that I downloaded. What else did I download today? Mech Builder got a demo. That one's really cool. If you've ever played, not to take two turns, if you've ever seen Retro Gadgets, yeah, it's very similar to that, except instead of building old Game Boys and stuff, you're building like Gundams at your desk, and you get the sheets of plastic and the pieces. You get the little pliers, you cut the little plastic, you take them, you attach them together. I don't know if you have to like sand them and paint them and stuff, but you show like you can put the stickers on it. I said it to my buddy Kanai. He's like it's funny because Connor's the Gundam guy, what he's not actually, we just pretend he is. But then Kanai's the actual Gundam guy, and we never call him out for it. So I sent him the trailer. I was like, this looks cool. And I'm like, yeah, dude, it looks fun. Nice. I think that was a part of the best indie showcase day. It was one of the first ones. So,
okay.
Mech Builder. I think that demo has out too. So I don't think I know. I'm rambling. Hey, what else you play this week?
Well, Hecky G, Danny.
Hecky G. I'm going to get the joke. Okay.
It's not a joke. It's just a way of greeting each other in what may be my game of the year so far, 1000 X Resist.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I am super hyped. I was super hyped before it came out.
Yeah.
I was super hyped last time we talked about it when I had only played it for like 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
I'm now right near the end. I'm about 13 hours in. And good God, it's so good. I'm gonna recap first.
Yes.
So people know what I'm talking about. It's a sci-fi story-based game where you are Watcher, one of the sisters, which are clones of the All-Mother. And you are tasked with diving into the All-Mother's memories to find out how she became this godlike being. It all started with a girl called Iris, who wasn't particularly special or kind or anything. But she was the only person who turned out to be immune to a deadly disease that was spread by an alien invasion. So there's a lot going on. The lore for this game is incredibly deep, but I really love it. The thing is, as Watcher, you are tasked with like going back into the memories of this All-Mother, this Iris girl, and you find things out that maybe you weren't supposed to find out, and things happen, and basically you get to decide what the future will look like for this world. But not in ways that you'd like expect.
Okay.
It's one of the most how should I say this? This game has taken turns again and again and again.
Okay.
But it never feels far-fetched. It's just really intriguing. Because aside to all the sci-fi stuff, it's also a story about Asian immigrants moving to the West. About people struggling to fight for their homeland and being forced to leave it behind. And what resistance means to a people and to someone to an individual as well. This game packs so much, and I really need people to play it so I can like talk about it and spoil it because I don't want to spoil it here. But like for example, IGN put out a review today of the game, and they gave it a 9 out of 10.
Ooh, okay, that's good numbers. That's good numbers.
Yeah, and it's thoroughly deserved. And then I look at Steam and I see that it has less than 500 reviews, and I'm like, people need to play this. I get that it's not for everyone.
Yeah,
like it's a walking simulator meets visual novel, so it's not gonna be to everyone's taste. But I really liked that in the Steam reviews. I noticed people who's saying that even though they are not into visual novels or walking simulators, they just got hooked by the narrative on this.
Yeah.
And the writing and the voice acting in this is just phenomenal. Sorry, I went on the rant.
No, you like, I'm in that spot where as I look at it, I played it ever sort of smidge of the demo, and like watching like what we saw last time, like this, it seems like one I would love to watch somebody's full Let's Play of, but I don't know that I would have like the drive to sit down and put my time and do it myself. But I'm sitting like, maybe I would, maybe I do. Maybe it is the one that I'm like, it goes back to Hypnotic's question. If I just picked it up and said, oh, here, let me try it. I'm like, oh, you know what? Nah, this hit different, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But it looks sick. I'm glad you're digging it so much.
Absolutely. I do like sci-fi games. A couple of years ago, I picked Citizen Sleeper as my game of the year. And I feel like this year it's gonna be tough for other games to like beat this to the top spot for me.
Whew. It's like this moment I'm like, you know what? I'm feeling it. Odd Sparks might be my game of the year so far. And you're like, this is it. I'm locking it in. It's June. 1,000 extras this. We go back to the end of the year and we have 2 completely different games. I'm just like, dude, they put out this new trash picking simulator. I was kind of vibing with it.
I'm really looking forward to like our end of year lists.
Yeah, no, that's exciting. I've like envisioned what that'll look like, but I don't entirely know yet. But just being like a top 10 list this way and that way and talk about it'll be fun. I'm excited talking these at the end of the year where there's so many to talk about.
Yeah, I'm even like, I still have a number of games that I bought in May because May was just so stacked that I still need to catch up on, like your Coffee Caravan or Crypt Master or Rack and Slay, all of which are excellent games, but I just have not been able to put the hours into them yet.
Yeah, May was tough. I had all last week I sat there like, I'm gonna finish this thing today and then I'm gonna pick up 9 Souls, and like I haven't bought it yet because I'm like, I will buy it when I sit down to play it. And like, maybe that'll be tonight or whatever the vibe is. But I was like, oh shoot, I got to get this video done. I got to edit this. I got to make this TikTok and post this. And then I get away. I'm like, shit, I haven't played 9 Souls yet. But that one's like probably the biggest on my radar. I still haven't finished Animal Well, which I want to do. Crow Country, I still have to go back and finish. That one might be like priority because I've seen people say it takes 4 to 5 hours. And I'm like, I've put more than that. So I've got to be like at the end. And I just got lost at that point. But May was stacked, man.
It was, because I still have games that I have, like, I was the same with as you with Lorelei and the Laser Eyes.
Yep.
I really want to play it, but I was like, I'm gonna buy it when I'm gonna play it, and I still haven't found the time to play it. So it's still on my wish list.
Excuse me, I've been yawning a lot today. It's been a long morning. Not that I'm bored in any way, shape, or form. Just I wish there was more time to sleep.
I get that.
But no, you have a good list of games you haven't picked up yet, and like you mentioned Lorelei, but like you also have Zetzillion on there. That's one that I dig the style, but I don't know if the gameplay is in my wheelhouse. But like, it's a vibe. It seems over the top. Aggressive seems like the wrong word, but like maybe anime-esque, like explosive energy in like a puzzle game. You want to call it? I don't know if there's a better terminology for
Isn't
that.
it? I think it's more of a roguelike deck builder.
Is that okay? That's probably better. Hold on, let me double check. In my head, I'm thinking like a Peggle in space type thing, and I have to see if I'm thinking of the wrong game. No, you were totally right. It is a roguelike deck builder. I don't know what I'm thinking of. I have the right style of characters though, like these like I can pull this like looking at these dudes, like this gives me Skullgirls. when I look at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, look at that sad moon. Yeah, no, Zed Zillion looked cool. Another one that like when I get to. Sorry, Monster Prom tweeted something out. I thought it was like news. I thought we had breaking news. It's just art. But yeah, no, Zed Zillion looked cool. You have Celico, and I don't know if I remember that one.
It wasn't on my radar, but then I think it was Eurogamer who did an article on it, and it's a first-person shooter. I'm not the biggest fan of first-person shooters,
sure.
But it's made in the Doom engine, I think.
Oh,
and it looks really fucking cool.
Hell yeah! Let me plob over here and do this. I like the. It's weird because I wouldn't go as far to say that it's necessarily retro style, but it's modern retro. And I'm sure there's a terminology for that. But it's like, oh, we made this in a modern hardware to look old. And like how angular the guns are.
It's actually made in an older engine.
Okay.
It's made in GZ Doom.
GZ Doom. Okay. I'm not well versed in the engines themselves. So I guess I'm assuming like Doom, like classic Doom engine. Or maybe somewhere in the middle there. I'm not sure. That's lit though. Looks fucking wild.
Yeah, and apparently the gunplay is really good, and also the storytelling is really excellent in it.
Okay.
It has like lots of documents to pick up and screens to look at, and
screens.
Yeah,
I love screens. I look at them all day. Nah, this does look fun. Yeah, like I said, I don't think I recognized this one prior, but I've been in the back of my head planning like a Doom shooter recommendation video. So let me wishlist that so I have it to talk about.
Yeah,
I can talk about that after I pirate Ultrakill. You also have Paladins, another one you get to play this month. That's when I think I had the demo sitting on my computer for so long, and then it was one of the ones where I went to launch it. It was like, sorry, the demo's not here. I'm like, no, my heart. Yeah, it's out now, and I think I was really digging the vibe of it because it was like the cozy D&D game. I'm like, this looks really cute.
It does. I downloaded the demo and during Next Fest, and I started playing it, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna save myself for when it comes out on full release, and then I haven't bought it.
Tofr. Seed by Seed would be disappointed.
I know.
Nah, I'm sure they're like, we'll wait for you, Tofr. We know you're gonna get over here. We saw you play the demo.
I will be playing it. I absolutely.
Yeah, mostly positive. Only 50 reviews though, so guys, just buy more Paladins and review the game.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the last one you have on here, which is interesting because I it's weird because I'm like, indie, how do we discover this or how do we discuss this? But you have Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, which I have also not played yet, and it is like legacy indie because Hellblade was, but then Xbox has bought Ninja Theory, so like legally it's not indie anymore, but also like it's Hellblade. Like, nah, this is one I got.
I just want to, I want to see what the team has done with the resources they've gotten from their deal with Xbox. I want to see how it translates because it looks stunning.
Yeah, I've heard everyone talk about the visuals. I've heard some mixed reviews. I've seen 9s, I've seen 8s, I've seen 5s and 6s. I think where I think most people complain about it is the combat, and it seems like it is an extra feature in a game that wasn't built to have combat in it. It's kind of similar to the first one.
Yeah.
So it seems like it does carry over. I've gotten nothing narratively from it. I have no idea what goes on in this world as far as what Senua's story continues as, which is probably the most exciting thing because I'll get to experience that almost like from 0% to 100. But yeah, I definitely want to get to this one because Hellblade 1 was pretty great. I loved it anyway, and I'm sure 2 just is more of that.
I think so. And what's cool about that is the first game really was the game about the girl with the mental issues.
Yeah.
Like that was one of its main features. And from what I've read, those issues are still there, but they're not the main attraction anymore.
Okay.
They're just a part of her character now.
Yeah.
And I want to see more games like that where people struggle with like mental health issues, but that's not
That's
the
not the plot.
reason that the game exists.
Yeah. No, yeah, I fuck with that. I like the idea of that being like, because it also seems narratively like it's been maybe not overcome, because I feel like if it's just overcome, it feels like the plot of one almost would be irrelevant. But I think seeing the progression of it and where it goes, again, not knowing anything about what happens in 2, and then assuming there will be a 3rd, like what that progression looks like for Senua is like really exciting.
Yeah. I really want it to be successful because I'm quite scared of another Hi-Fi Rush kind of situation.
Don't do it. Don't do it, Xbox. Xbox, don't do it. Don't you do it. You leave Ninja Theory alone. And bring back Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But those were the games that we were playing or wish to play or dream to play, and maybe one day we'll play. But for now, we got to talk about a bunch of other games that maybe one day we'll play, because this week in indie releases, we're talking about the games that come out from June 6th to June 12th. First off, there's Crystalla coming out on June 6th for Steam and Early Access. That is a Souls-like, where you play as like an anthropomorphic cat.
Okay.
I kind of get lost when it says Souls-like, but I think a lot of people are excited for this one. I see people kind of like foaming at the mouth for this Souls-like. They all kind of look the same to me at this point. So I'm like, God, listen, whatever makes this one special, I'm glad people got it. I put in
Souls-like. I'm not gonna comment.
Yeah. I put an asterisk next to this next one because I've seen people give a date, but I have not seen the developer give a date. So, Koro Neko coming out on June 6th for Steam. It is like a cat puzzle game. Next
that
up,
looks adorable.
Right? It's really cute. Yeah, like I think Steam just says coming soon, but I've seen people tweeting out like coming out on June 6th. So I'm like, somewhere it says it. I just haven't seen it. Star Stuff coming out on June 7th for Steam. Oh god, this one always gets me. Kamaru, a Frog Refuge, coming out on June 8th for Steam, Switch, and Xbox. Probably my favorite from this list is Tracks of Thought, coming out on June 10th for Steam. Nice. That was probably one of my first Steam Next Fest demos ever.
Oh really?
Yes, that was like the first year they did Next Fest. I was like, oh, what's this cute little one? You play as a little ladybug, and you're on this train where everyone has amnesia. And you like talk through your feelings in like a deck building kind of format where you like walk around like, hey, I need a pencil. You get it. You run to the guys like, I'm in a bad mood. I'm going to beat you up. What if we talked about it? And then you like play these cards that like have the conversation between the two characters. And then how you handle the conversation creates more cards that then builds a different deck. I don't know if you can straight up be mean. The demo wasn't too deep in like the card building part. It was more of like the exploration puzzle solving. But it's super cute. And the last thing I think we heard is that like one of the devs was sick. They were in the hospital. So the game was kind of indefinitely delayed. And then the next thing I knew, the game was like announced to come out. So without doing any further research, I'm hoping everything is better in that place that the game is like done. But that was last update I had seen. So when I saw this comes out this week, I'm like, oh shit, it's like right there. So hoping for the team that everybody is well and safe over there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then to round out the list, we have V Rising coming out on June 11th for PlayStation 5. I think, early access on other platforms? I think on Xbox and Steam, or maybe it's not on Xbox. V Rising, I feel like one that's been out but isn't out, and I don't remember.
Let me check.
Bet.
V Rising was released on May 8th in 1.0.
Cool. So then it looks like we're getting the PlayStation version this week. So if you like vampires, there you go. And then timestamp. I like the idea that I'll just eventually that'll stick and there'll be just a timestamp shirt that we sell. It's just timestamp. And then to round out this episode, don't forget you can write into the show and tell us your favorite indie game this week. Oops, I messed it up. It wasn't Every Noodle. Sorry, Noodle, you were last week. Stop taking glory. I'm pretty sure, if I recall, this is also Hypnotic89s, who writes in to tell us that their favorite indie game is Dredge. Even though I haven't gotten to play it myself, but seeing Danny play it, I fell in love with it, and I'm excited to play it myself. Just too many games that I'm playing that I want to finish first. Tofr, I love Dredge. I love Dredge.
You do love Dredge.
I love Dredge. It was my game of the year last year. I followed it on TikTok. And I'm like, I'm going to enjoy this. I know I will. I didn't know I would enjoy it that much. In a year where like at the beginning I knew air quotes my game of the year was gonna be Sea of Stars. And then Dredge, I'm like, shit. Dredge just hit different. It was atmospheric. It was hard, but it wasn't like, oh my god, the big bad guy's chasing me through the map. Like, it wasn't Resident Evil insane, like heart pumping horror. It was this psychological. Is it real? Is it not real? All of a sudden, I'm floating through the water at night, and I hear like a beep beep. Who's honking at me? Who did that? And then in the distance, I see like the silhouette of another boat. But I go over there and there's nothing there. Or I go to pick up wood from an abandoned boat. And all of a sudden that boat turns into a giant lobster monster that's about to kill me. Like, why did that happen? Like, Dredge is filled with like mystery and craziness. I went back to play Pale Reach, and that was like a short expansion. I knocked it out in a night, but still like, oh my God. In a case where I talked about like, it takes a lot for me to go back and play DLC. Like, I love Dredge enough that I'm like, I'm excited for that. And I think we still have another pack coming at some point here. I think another expansion. So,
ooh,
Dredge a good pick. Dredge a good pick there for Hypnotic.
It is.
Yeah. Did you play Dredge? Get Dredge?
I played it. It wasn't my favorite, but at the same time, I get why it's held in such high regard.
Yeah.
It's just that, like, I struggled with the horror element a bit too much.
Sure.
I got scared.
I got you.
Yeah, and I got, like, I knew it was a horror game, but the relaxing part of it felt so good that I wanted it to remain like this relaxing game. Like, this could have been Stardew levels of replayability for me.
Yeah, okay, I see.
If it didn't have the horror element.
I think it'd be fun if there was an I don't know if there is or anything. I haven't checked if there's like an accessibility mode to kind of either turn it off or turn it down to just do like the sailing portion of it, to just do the game stuff. Even if you still got the exhaustion, but it didn't necessarily spawn like big crazy tentacle monsters gonna rip me down to the earth. But I guess you also have to take out like sections of the game that like hold not boss fights, but like an obstacle, which I don't know if you can necessarily do to like bring down the accessibility option. But man, what a good time with Dredge. That is one that I think when
go back to it.
Hey, listen, if you do, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you either way, but
Aw.
I'll be more proud of you if you play Dredge.
Okay, I get it.
Oh man, Hypnotic, thank you so much for writing in. Dredge is great. I'm excited for you to eventually get to it. I know I only streamed the first like 5 or 6 hours on Twitch, so like there's still more of the narrative that like I haven't shown you, at least. Whether you know it from other means, I don't know, but I'm excited for you to get to experience the story of Dredge. But with that, that wraps up today's episode of Playlog. Thank you guys so much for watching. Real quick, this week's going to be special. We're going to have a bonus episode of Playlog this Sunday. You already heard us talk about how there's so many indie showcases and what we got to deal with and covering them. So this weekend, there is a Summer Game Fest. So I'll be reacting to that on Friday. And then Saturday, we will be reacting to the Devolver Direct as well as the Wholesome Games Direct, both Tofr and I over on twitch.tv/CGDannyB. As far as scheduling and what that'll look like, we don't know. 10:30 a.m. We'll probably start Devolver, maybe talk about that showcase and Summer Game Fest indies in between, then jump right into Wholesome, and then from there we'll record a new episode of Playlog, which will go out on YouTube and audio services on Sunday. But if you want to watch it live on Twitch, that'll be over there. So it's a packed weekend. There's a lot of indies to talk about, so look forward to it.
Yeah.
But with that, Tofr, thank you again for joining me for another episode of Playlog. Where could the Scrub and Bob Brothers find you online?
They can find me as Play Nice Kids, either with dots or underscores between the words on pretty much everything.
There you have it.
And just thank you for having me again.
Of course. Couldn't do it without you. There'll be one week where you're just like, hey, I can't make it this week. I'm like, you know what? Bet. I'm just going to sit here and talk to the empty box. or I'll ask for a selfie being like, and I'll just
maybe I should just make a couple of shots like that you can use, like surprised face.
I need give me an angry face quick. Give me like, you're pissed. There we go. Quick, Tofr, Terry Brash copied another game. There you go. Poor audio listeners like, I can't see it, Danny. It's a dumb joke. It's not funny over here. Oh, yes. But of course, with that, guys, you can find me everywhere. CGDannyB, Instagram, Twitter. Go follow me on Twitter or X, whatever you call it. It's maybe I should get better just telling you to follow on one place. You're like, oh, choice paralysis is crazy. But Of course, don't forget to catch the new episode of Playlog on Sunday, and then of course right back here on Thursday, because next week is Steam Next Fest. So I'm excited to see how that episode falls together, baby. Let's go.
Oh yeah.
But thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.